Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's podcast. This is episode 114 and the first one of 2021. It feels weird to be saying that.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully it's a good
Wow.
one. Fingers crossed.
What an absolute shocker the last one was.
We don't need 2020's in the past now. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to mention it again. It's fine. Like, it's done
Tell you
with
what,
now.
though, I don't know if you was the same, but on New Year's Day, I had only had like one or two drinks on New Year's Eve because just to bring like the new year to a close and say see you later. But I felt like on New Year's Day, I just had like a hangover from 2020. Not like a alcohol-induced hangover, but like I was just really like fed up the whole day, like I'm really drained and tired.
I kind of get that, yeah. I think it's always weird, isn't it? Especially, I think, because I think it's different when like you're with family and friends or you're doing whatever and you're celebrating in a different way. But like you were just stuck in your house, like, and that's what it's been for like however many months. I don't even know now. Like that's just the way it was. Like, and then obviously like there's just the January blues anyway, really, isn't there? Like, the weather's always horrible.
Month of the year, it literally is.
Yeah, it's probably so like going into you were sort of like hoping you were waking up on like New Year's Day and being like everything's sort of normal, like was 2020 just a really bad dream, but then like you sort of woke up in the same position, so like it didn't really make that much of a difference, which is like bad to say, but like it didn't really.
No, it didn't. It kind of got a bit worse because we went into lockdown again.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's gonna be fine.
It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
At some point this year, life has got to get normal again.
Yeah.
It's just when that point in this year it's gonna be, I don't know. But at some point, things will change, which is the one thing I'm like holding on to, like that's getting me through it.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like it can't be like this forever. It's got to change at some point. We just have to sort of wait until that point is.
Yeah. And it'll be fine. We'll be fine, guys.
All right.
It's okay. Yeah, we've a couple of topics to discuss today. Obviously there's been no games over the winter period, so none of that to discuss. But there's been a few stories surrounding women's football that's come out, especially over the last few days. Starting it off, we want to know why everyone's going to Dubai. Why has everyone
gone to Dubai and we haven't?
Exactly, like
it feels like the whole of the UK population has migrated to Dubai.
I think
I'm surprised it's not been added to the quarantine list.
I think it will be now, but like I think when you go and as long as you've got a negative test, you can go in. You can go into Dubai. But yeah, obviously
everyone and his dogs over there.
Honestly, they really are. Like I feel like every time I go on Instagram, someone's put a story up and it's like Dubai, and I'm like, what? How did you get there? How did you get there? Like how were you allowed to leave the country? Like what's going on?
I've not left my house in like 10 months, and he's off to Dubai.
A bit of controversy though, as for Man City players who were in Dubai have now tested positive for coronavirus. We don't know who they are. You can obviously make your assumptions off social media and whatever, but it hasn't been confirmed who it is, and it might not ever be, because I think it's like player discretion and club discretion whether they release who it was and whatnot. But obviously those players were given full permission by their club to travel out of the UK over the sort of winter break, would you say? I think my first reaction when you're seeing like obviously people traveling and like players traveling and stuff like that, I was thinking, well, why? Because you know they're in the bubbles, they're told to stay in the bubbles. It's so all of a sudden they're allowed to travel.
Like a plan in place.
Yeah, there's been a plan in place for so long. They're constantly tested. They're constantly in their bubbles, in their own environments, not allowed to sort of mix with anyone else. And then all of a sudden they're allowed to get on a however many hour flight to Dubai and spend a week there. And it just seems a bit bizarre to me that was allowed by clubs, really.
Yeah, especially when you think some of the foreign players couldn't even like get home for
Yeah,
Christmas, and then there's these other players that are going abroad. Yeah, it's just a bit strange. I mean, everyone, if they're given permission to, they're fully entitled to do that, aren't they? So it's not a case of whether they were not allowed to do it and they've gone and done it anyway. It's just a case now of the knock-on effect that it has. So obviously, I think it's something like 4 City players have got it.
yeah,
And by the looks of things that have come out, you can't be 100% sure, but there's quite a few key players in there that are involved with it and that have been abroad. So you think, okay, well, is their game against, I think it's West Ham this
yeah.
weekend, is that going to go ahead if they've got major key players missing? Or is there risk that these key players have then gone home? Because there's a lot of house sharing in women's football, isn't there? So have they gone and then passed it on to other Man City players? So then is the whole squad going to be at risk and not suitable to then go and play against other teams? So it's a knock-on effect. And then when do you then play that game again?
Yeah,
So these things can like build up. So to me, it does seem strange, and I just wouldn't. If it was me, I just wouldn't have wanted my players to go away. I
yeah,
would have preferred them to be here where their families are, whatever, and try and keep sort of exposure to other people as minimal as possible, which we were all told to do anyways,
yeah.
regardless of whether we were in the UK or not. We were all sort of told to. I mean, I saw my grandparents for like 2 hours, and then that was it. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. But the only thing as well, which I saw that a lot of people picked up on, was the fact that these players are supposed to be role models, and then they're showing this sort of behaviour, and sort of how does that look? It doesn't really look great, especially to the younger generation.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be setting a good example, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it. But at the end of the day, they kind of didn't do anything wrong. It's
That's
just you
it.
kind of think it's not the right thing to do, but it's not necessarily not allowed,
Yeah.
which is kind of strange.
Because at the time, I think Manchester were in tier 3 at the time. So, like, I'm confused with the tiers and the rules, like what was allowed and what wasn't allowed and whatnot. But it's just weird that, like, I thought you couldn't travel in tier 3. I thought you couldn't go anywhere.
No
But then
idea.
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, I've just got no clue. So then, yeah, you're right with the whole role model thing. It's just it's weird, isn't it? Because women's football does have the eyes of the world on it now. Obviously, especially with social media as well. And
Yeah.
more people are starting to pay attention, and you're gonna pay attention to obviously someone you look up to, and you see them on a beach in Dubai, and you think, how have they got there? Like, I thought we weren't allowed to go anywhere. I
Yeah.
can't go and see me nan, but they're on a beach in Dubai. Like,
And
does
the
that
thing
make
is,
any
there
sense?
was a lot of people mixing with other team players that we saw.
Yeah,
So it wasn't like they were just there with their family. They were also mixing within other players from other teams.
yeah.
So I think that's where most
But
people are a bit like,
obviously they haven't had it while they travelled. They've obviously picked it up while they've been away because, like I said, I think you've got to have a negative swab to be like allowed to get into the country. Otherwise you have to do like a 2-week quarantine and then whatever. Do you know what I mean? So they've obviously had a negative swab on arrival and then picked it up,
yeah,
or we're I don't know. You just don't know.
yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just a bit of a mad one. I think obviously they've paid the price for it now, and you're gonna know who it is by unless the game's called off, you're gonna know who's not in the squad and who isn't, and whatever. So everyone can make their own assumptions on that. But yeah, it's just a bit bizarre to see, really.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Liverpool then. Some exciting news for us. Liverpool are in advanced talks with Mel Johnson from Sheffield United. This was reported by our lovely friend Emma Sanders on the BBC. Was it on what day? On Wednesday? Was it Monday?
Yeah, I think Monday. Yeah, it must have
Monday
been.
evening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is a bit like just came out of nowhere. Like, obviously you have got no idea about transfers half the time anyway. But then you see it and you're
I'd
like,
completely
oh,
forgotten that the window had opened.
yeah, it's just mad.
Oh,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, we can sign players, wow.
Oh my God,
um,
it's that time of year again.
yeah, but yeah, Mel Johnson, really good player. Currently plays for Sheffield United, who are obviously one of our main rivals in the league this season. Top scorer for Aston Villa in the Championship in the 2019-20 season. I think she was 12 goals that she had. And then she's netted 5 in all competitions so far this season. So not a bad return in a few games. Obviously, a good goal scorer. So she'd be a great addition to add to our squad, because I think sometimes this season we've lacked in the final thirds, which has probably been our problem which is probably our problem last season as well. I think our main issue was just we were getting into those situations, but we weren't scoring goals, and ultimately that's what you need.
Yeah.
Obviously we had a Thestrup in on the summer as well. And then obviously we've got like Babajide who can play there, Ash Hodgson can play there. You've got a number of players who can play across like that forward line, but it's always nice to have a bit of competition for your squad, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I feel like it pushes people on, and it gives them even that little bit more motivation that they might need, and just improves them as a player. I think when you think you've got someone over your shoulder, you want to prove even more that you're the one to pick week in, week out. And hopefully this is something, if it obviously all goes through all well, it's hopefully something that will push the likes of Thestrup on, and not a case of working harder, but I think clinicalness for sure. I think they'll challenge each other in that.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to have new additions to the squad. It's like it feels like you're freshening up a little bit, especially with the amount of I don't know whether it's expectation, but just the pressure now of, okay, back end of the season, are we gonna achieve what we set out to achieve? When the season first began. So adding someone like Mel Johnson, I think, is only going to be a benefit, and hopefully she can sort of carry on that goal return. And if you've got players in like Fernie that can assist all day long, you're hoping to sort of double what she's got already, if possible. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it all goes through and she sort of settles in quickly and really, really pushes on.
Yeah.
We seem to have a thing with January transfers and them being really good. So
Well, Fernie's a great example, isn't she, of the impact she made. So let's hope if Mel Johnson does come in, that she makes the same impact and she doesn't only have 4 games to do it in either. That would be nice.
That would be horrible this season.
But yeah, like I was looking at the fixture list the other day, and I think it's only 9 games that we've got left now. There's only 2 a month now up until May.
Crazy.
So in your head you think that's not a lot. And the position we're in right now, these next 2-3 games are probably the most crucial, because if we have some poor results in those matches, it's more than likely you're not going to go up. There's only one spot available to go back into the WSL, and currently Durham are on really good form, Leicester are really good form. Obviously us and Sheffield are battling that like 5th and 4th position as well. And it's just like we knew it was going to be tough. So like this is probably what we expected. We didn't think it would all be wrapped up by Christmas, but here we are. And hopefully bringing a few players in, if that happens, will be really good for us, I think, because you need squad depth going into a busy period, and this is what it's going to be like for us.
Also signing a rival as well.
Yeah, like taking one of your rivals like best players.
Yeah,
that's like a sign of like intent.
It is.
Which is good.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's always exciting when you sign someone new, how they're going to fit in, how the cogs are all going to turn all together. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely.
And hopefully we sign quite a few players.
Well, obviously Mel Johnson being a striker, but is there anywhere else that like you think we need to strengthen in this window in any particular position?
I think potentially midfield, just because obviously don't know how long Jade Bailey's gonna be out for.
Yeah.
And also another point is this whole COVID situation, you never sort of know when someone might catch it in everyday life. Like you don't know when that's going to happen, so you need to be able to have all these options. So if you're thinking if someone else catches it from midfield, then that's another player that you've gone alongside Jay Brady as well. So probably around there. But even in long term as well, another creative player would be great. Obviously, we've got Raza and Amy Rogers who are more sort of defensive. So to have another creative player in there to sort of feed the attackers would be quite nice. But I mean, I'll take anyone.
Anyone who wants to come, please come. Yeah, no, I agree with you. On the front midfield is probably a good area to strengthen. I think maybe another centre back as well if you wanna think defensively also, because obviously Michaela Moore's more of like a prominent like CDM. She can play that centre back position, but then say for example like Becky James out for a while, so you're taking out Razard in midfield, so then you're using someone in midfield but gaining defence, but you might as well go out and buy another right back or centre back who can play that position and just come in and just do their job basically.
It obviously depends on Bradley Auckland as well. Obviously we've not really heard much about that. It's probably not looking likely, but then you sort of pose that question again, whether we need like another one, because the plan has always been she'd be back in January, and obviously we've not heard anything, so it's one of them things.
Yeah, who knows? Hopefully there's a few new additions to the squad. That'd be nice, but happy with what we've got as well.
We're doing all right. Like the players that we've got, well and truly capable of doing the job, which they've proved this season. It's just now about building upon kind of what we already have. Obviously, new additions would be nice in terms of, I said, like freshening up and stuff like that. But I don't think there's anywhere that's like glaring.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. No, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah. Another bit of drama that's happened as well. It's been a bit of a dramatic.
It's like an episode of Corrie today.
Yeah. The Women's FA Cup dilemma. The Women's FA Cup 3rd and 4th rounds, but could potentially be decided by the toss of a coin. What?
Not good, is it? It's not great.
What? Like, yeah, that's just absolutely like stupid. Like,
it's bizarre.
Obviously, the Women's FA Cup's been put on hold due to like the new national lockdown and whatnot, but I just the audacity to be like, oh, we'll just do a toss of the coin, see what happens. Heads or tails, lads, what you want? Like what? Like, I just found that absolutely bizarre. Why is that even a thought process? Why is that even something that like has come to someone's mind? I don't understand it really.
I'd probably rather they just said scrapped it.
Scrap it, don't even think about it,
Yeah. But I hope it doesn't come to that. I think a lot of people have sort of commented on it, so maybe the FA will see that and be like, no, maybe that's not a good idea, which is a bit obvious already. But the issue is they don't want to delay it and have to play it later, because then it has an effect on games further down the line. So I guess they want to decide it now, so then when that time comes for the 4th round or whatever, that just gets played, rather than then having to play 3rd and whatever in between. So they're trying to think of a solution to cut out games, basically.
Which a toss of a coin,
right? No. I mean, you have a toss of a coin. Who gets to pick? Go on.
Do you have to do a toss of a coin to pick who gets to do the pick heads or tails? Like
no, that's rock paper scissors.
oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just like you just said, you'd rather them
feel right.
You'd rather them just not play it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, because the 3rd and 4th rounds, obviously the rounds from then on, and you can understand why they don't want to continue it after play the games later, just due to like the calendars with like the pre-Olympic stuff and whatnot. But like, I think people are just more frustrated with the lack of like care in the fact that we'll decide it on the toss of a coin. Like,
Oh yeah, it doesn't look great, does it?
no, that it just doesn't paint the FA or whoever's decided this in a good light, really.
No.
Because the women's FA Cup,
It's a lack of care, sort of.
yeah,
Just like throw it aside. Oh, it's all right.
yeah,
They'll be fine, whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's not just a crappy little trophy. It's like the FA Cup. It's a big thing
I
in
know.
football in general.
It's an opportunity for everyone, regardless of whether you're in the WSL or you're in like Northern League One. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
an opportunity for everyone to play against different kinds of players. So that's why they call it the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? Like anything can happen. So it's not just, you can't write teams off in it ever. That's what makes it's so interesting. But it definitely needs to be a little bit of a head wobble there, because that doesn't sound right to me.
No, definitely doesn't sound right. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on all that stuff, because
It's interesting to know if we're just
we're just being
but I
picky.
don't think we are.
I don't think we are, considering the reaction that we've seen on social media. I don't think we're not saying anything that hasn't already been said, I don't think.
No, 100%.
No. Finally, I won't go into full detail about it, because obviously it was last week, but Karen Carney obviously received a little bit of backlash following her game analysis on the Leeds West Brom game, I think it was. She was asked a question in punditry, and she gave what I thought was a fair enough answer. She was asked obviously about Leeds United, and she said she made a comment of, would Leeds have come up if COVID didn't give them a helping hand, which I think COVID gave most teams a helping hand. Obviously the little bit of a break for players and whatnot obviously helped certain people. But I think people took what she said in the wrong way. And the Leeds Twitter admin, whoever they are, decided to highlight that. And post a video of it and make a snide comment and basically invite people to sort of hate on Karen Carney, I'd say.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't actually. I think it's okay to not agree with what Karen Carney was saying, because there are things that you can agree with and there are things that you might not agree with. I think it's more the fact that it came from a Premier League account. Fair enough if it, well, not fair enough, but you probably expect it more of someone called, I don't know, Gary sitting behind a keyboard trying to just make a comment and whatever, all these sexist feminist comments.
Yeah.
But when you're seeing it from a actual account, which will get millions and millions of people looking at it, and doing it against a female pundit, which there aren't that many of, and already come under so much scrutiny anyways, you just like highlighting it on top of that, which just seems so unnecessary. It's like they was trying to be funny and they was trying to like be like, oh, look what she said, it's wrong, but that's not how a Premier League club should act.
No,
that's how the trolls act. It's not how a club with that many following should be doing. Really.
I think I saw a good tweet off a couple of people, and it was like, everyone's all for a bit of like football banter. There's obviously the football banter page on Twitter and stuff like that, but that's not what a official team account should be. And I thought that sort of knocked the nail on the head there. And if the tweet's still up, you can still go and watch. You can still go and see it. As of right now, it's got 6.1 million views, and you wouldn't know, thousands upon thousands of comments. Which ultimately led Karen Carney to delete her Twitter account. She was getting that much abuse. Like it was just unnecessary. That's the perfect word that what you've just said there, unnecessary. Because I think just the fact that, like, I think I tweeted this the next day, the fact that they just haven't acknowledged what they did either.
Yeah.
They didn't acknowledge it.
Or
apologise. The tweet's still up. Do you know what I mean? It's
like they've just tried to shove it under the carpet, like, it's fine, carry on. Whereas, no, you need to be responsible for what you say.
Yeah.
like it's all very well being like, oh, haha, she said this, trying to make it funny, but I think there's enough reasons given for them, one, to delete it, but then even to apologize as well and just be like, we didn't mean any maliciousness towards it. But the fact that so much like toxic abuse is held towards her would probably give you more of an incentive to be like, we didn't mean it in that way, or we apologize for what we've said, sort of thing. And it takes nothing to apologize, and show off an example of how you should react if you make a mistake like that. But I mean, it's just hurtful from a female's perspective as well, because we all know not everyone takes females' opinions in football as seriously as they would do a Gary Neville, a Jamie Carragher, for example. Like, we disagree that, like, they say things that not everyone agrees with all the time, yet they're not hurled as much toxic abuse as them to delete then their account, do you know what I mean? So it was just like unnecessary is the word that I would associate it with.
And then I can't remember who else was like on like the game analysis with her, but when she said what she said, whoever the fella who was with her agreed. You can hear him in the background go, yes, spot on. So why is the abuse
just pick up on things, don't they?
Yeah, it's just, you know, you don't like to drag it on. I just think it was important that like we highlighted it on here and gave our opinions on it, because like you said, you know, us being females in both men's and women's football, you know, that's ultimately what. And like you said, like, we might not agree with the woman's opinion half the time either. Just because she's a female doesn't mean we're going to be like, yeah, she's absolutely right. Like, we'll hold our hands up and be like, no, what she said was wrong. Same as what we'd say.
I'm not going to hurl abuse at her for it.
I'm not going to go and tweet it about it. Exactly. Like, just.
I wouldn't even probably tweet a male pundit about it either.
I wouldn't give anyone abuse. Like, I just don't see the.
I'd give you abuse occasionally.
A lot.
I'm really joking.
No. We like each other the last couple of weeks. It's been nice.
Yeah. We've not argued.
It's been great.
We don't. To be fair, we don't really argue.
No, we don't.
We're just too chilled. Like, whatever.
It'll just be like, we'll just go like 24 hours without texting each other and be like, oh.
Yeah, you're right.
Where have you been?
Just life, isn't it? It gets in the way.
Life gets in the way, but well, that's everything on the agenda.
It's nice to be back after a nice break. 2021 is going to be...
It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year, guys. Speak it into the universe. Positive energy.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes all around.
Yeah. But thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to our channel. Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. If there's any videos that you want us to do this year, let us know. Give us a few ideas. But yeah, fingers crossed for a Liverpool win this Sunday. And it's a good few weeks for us. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to see you all next time with a new video. Bye.